Welcome back to Daughters of Bikers. I am Shannon. I am the High Priestess of the Goddess Hecate, talking to you today about all things spiritual, how I navigated my chaotic life as a daughter of a biker into becoming a high priestess and spiritual guide. So today we're diving into what is Project 2025? Right? We've heard a lot about that in these last few years, but one thing I don't know if people were really talking about is what that means for our spiritual practices and our everyday lives as spiritualists or practitioners of the occult. So, this is not about feel good plateaus. It's about staying sharp, protecting our energy, and preparing ourselves for this seismic shift that is ahead of us. Some of you guys are probably already starting to feel this shift. You're feeling this elevated level. You're seeing the amount of hate, division that is actually out there. As we rise in our frequencies, those that are less in tune with the frequencies, with their own frequency, those that are more or less, excuse the term for lack of a better word, but a meat bag. We currently have a lot of them around our planet right now. And as this frequency rises, the only thing that they can do is create chaos. And that is where we're at today, specifically February 10th, 2025. We are in chaos. We feel this huge energy shifting that's going on. A lot of us that have actually started to wake up recently are really confused and scared. And so today I wanted to give you guys some of the warning signs to watch out for during this shift, some practical steps and rituals that will help you protect your energy and maintain clarity. I also want to touch a little bit on how to prepare your own community and individual practices so that they can thrive in these truly, truly turbulent times that we are experiencing right now. So let's get into it. One of the biggest things that I want to explain and talk about is this shift that we're all seeing, feeling, and enduring. And I want to emphasize that our world right now is in a major state of flux. The old systems are starting to break down to the point where they are fighting amongst themselves. They are grasping at every straw to take away any of your norms that you are used to or accustomed to. And all the new structures that are starting to emerge, especially within the spiritual community, as we are starting to shed these worldly cloaks that are hiding us from truly becoming who we need to become and discover our own life of Zen. And with all of this, we are starting to see global stress. We are seeing it everywhere. We are seeing the rise of AI and the technological challenges that all of that will possess of having you question what's real and what's not. And then we have the shifting power structures, especially here in the US, that has shifted from a progressive, constantly evolving society into a very, very un I just can't come with the words with this one because this Project 2025 shit. I'm gonna, you're gonna be with me for a while on these podcasts. There are going to be profanities thrown. I am a fan of all words that are out there. I am a avid, avid lover of the written words. I believe that we have created such an amazing structure when it comes to our words and our vocabularies that it's just, it's nice to have, considering that we came from grunts and and basically grunts. So let's just get back into this. Project 2025 is going to be something that is going to impact everything, not just here in the US, but any of us that are starting to become awakened to our own heritages, our own spiritual paths, the things that we are starting, that we've questioned so much in our lives, that now that we are beginning to have clarity on, they want to try to take away from us. You never want to have the herd awoken because they don't comply. So that is where we're at with this Project 2025 and the impacts that it's having on our spiritual realm are not just external. These are also affecting our spiritual energy. And this is why you're seeing the 4 a.m. clubs or 3 a.m. clubs all over the place. This is also why you're seeing a lot of people in the last, I want to say under 3 years, but I'm going to say 3 years to give it just a starting point. That we have had a lot of spiritualists that have had near-death experiences that have actually crossed the Black River and have walked in the healing ponds and have examined all of their Akashic record and have understood now why they were sent back after they had made that amazing journey across the Black River. These near-death experiences are not just coincidences. These are actual initiations. Those of us that have been through them are slowly starting to come to the realization that that is what they were. These were our initiations into our next place in life as leaders of the communities that we are building amongst our spiritual communities, amongst our occult communities. As this Project 2025 starts to unveil itself more, a lot of us practitioners are going to start to see their flock flee. And in that, they will be searching for us. And it is going to be imperative that we vet these people very carefully. We have all seen in the last few years the energy vampires that have stolen our work, that have come in under um, a fake veil to learn our practices to try to make money off of it themselves. And therefore, they're now starting to reap the benefit of said theft. And you are starting to see a lot of these really high spiritual people that you would always hear about in the chatter sphere starting to descend. They are no longer ascending because you can only steal someone's work for so long. And so these internal changes that we're feeling are also going to start affecting our spiritual energy, our abilities to focus. It's even going to affect our dreams and our visions. So if you're starting to become aware of certain visions that you're being shown, don't cast them away. At this point, it is extremely important to make sure that you follow through with those visions. You journal them, you share them, because as we move forward together in spirituality and the occult, it will only strengthen our foundations. And so, one of the things that I wanted to talk about is that you guys are not alone in this at all. As a high priestess, I have spoken to other high priestesses and other higher, let's just say for the word gurus, if you want, um, or leaders of the communities that are of the occult. We are all starting to see extreme visions. We are getting extreme downloads. We are getting a lot of things thrown into us, and it is becoming a bit overwhelming because of the amount and how fast everything is starting to come. They are just bamming us. And it's okay to ask your guides to just kind of slow down a minute because I got to get my head around everything that you've just given me. So that is something that you can do because I've had to do that. Um, and I just want you guys to realize that you're not alone in that because I've been going through that as well. I've had to pull myself back from my community. I've had to literally go hermit because of the amount of frequencies, of the amount of energies, of the amount of downloads, visions. I mean, I can't even walk past people right now in public without getting bombarded by their spiritual energies or their spiritual guides that are just like right there on the forefront. And I'm just like, okay, I just need a chance to breathe. We can I just so making sure we have our grounding practices, making sure that we have all of our tools that we have learned over these last, I want to say, a good at least decade that we've been really awakening and learning and giving ourselves these tools that are going to empower us in this spiritual toolbox that we are having to go forward with. So, one of those things that you can understand at this point is that you are not alone. Okay. So we just need to remember that it feels like it, but we are not. We're doing okay. That is their message. They're like, just keep going. And I want to stress that this is a time for each of us as spiritual leaders, each of us as teachers, each of us as guides to make sure that we have a strategic preparation and we are vigilant and that we do not, and I repeat, sisters, please, please, we are not giving passive hope or giving out cliche affirmations like, as long as we stay in the light, we will be absolved. Um, love and light, those constant things, those are not, and I will repeat it till I am blue in the face, those are not reality. Everything, every emotion that we've been given is our clues. And so when we have our down days and we have our dark days and we have our shadow days and we are in our ego, those are days that we are meant to learn. And casting them aside and acting as if that negative energy can't be brought into my energy space or into my energy field is bullshit. It's plain bullshit. The only thing that you really need to do is to learn that in those negative moments, those negative energies, that you can process it You can feel that. You can become unreactive to it, to disengage from the action that you would normally do behind it. See, you guys, it's all about learning how to navigate it so that you have a lesson impact on your spirit. Because every time we have traumas, every time we have angers, every time we do any of that, we lose little silver slivers of our spirit. Every time you step into a dark shadow moment and you feel it and you acknowledge it and you realize that it's there to show you something, instead of losing a shard of your spirit, you actually gain a piece back. Because when you come out on the other side of it, there's this immense feeling of wholeness that begins to set in. So definitely be vigilant. Stay away from the passive hope bullshit and the cliche affirmations. You know, sometimes an affirmation can be as simple as, I just need to get through this moment. I can just get through this moment. I can just get through this moment. That's all I need. I just got to get through this moment. And to breathe, and to breathe, and to realize the only thing that you need to worry about is I am. And that's a strange concept, but I want to talk about the I am concept later on in more podcasts. So if you have questions about the I am concept, please reach out to me and let's connect and we'll talk about it more. So let's jump back into the type of warning signs that you can watch out for, especially right now during this major energy shift. So, signs that you're going to notice that the energy is beginning to overload or just draining you. Those are going to be things like fatigue, persistent negative dreams or visions, and difficulty maintaining focus. So, what you want to do is you want to monitor your energy levels. If you have to, keep a daily log of unusual feelings or disturbances that are coming in, and note if there's anything that's starting to reoccur so that you can understand if this is actually one of your visions for the future or if this is something that is being built up because of an increased fatigue in your body or maybe a constant attachment to the news. One of the things that I have done is I stopped watching news, all news, all news. Um, I honestly, I'd rather watch a live stream video of a beach that just sits there and plays nothing but a beach. Somebody put up a camera and it's live, and that's all it is, over watching any type of television, any type of news. Matter of fact, last night, we got a profit in that I did not watch the Super Bowl, but I did wait until it was re-uploaded it and ready to go on YouTube. I watched Kendrick Lamar's halftime show. All spiritualists, y'all need to go and watch that. There is so much in there. Kendrick Lamar, yes, he's in the middle of this beef, but we all know how the divine works, and the divine works like they put these two beef in just so that this prophet can be heard. And Kendrick Lamar has so much prophet um, words that are coming through that can resonate with right now with you. It, it's astonishing. Sorry, you guys. Okay, sorry about that. My neighbor's car is quite snarly. So, again, Kendrick Lamar, his whole presence last night was telling us that get off the TV, turn off that TV. So make sure that you know what, when you start to feel that fatigue kick in and you start to become overly obsessed and fearful of what you're seeing, because the visions that we're getting are very real. They're very, I mean, there's no other way to say it, but they are very, very much war. They are very much famine. They are very much just absolutely awful, right? So, in order to keep from those becoming a source of pain or a source of um exploding negativity in your life, you really need to just kind of become aware of it, monitoring your levels, again, keeping a log, seeing if these unusual feelings or disturbances are becoming a theme, or if it's just, are you processing these visions correctly? Because some of the times we have to process our visions as well because they come with emotions. So really, really be mindful of that. Um, One of the other things that you need to be mindful of is manipulative and exploitive influences. Right now, we are going to have a lot of individuals and mentors who are going to drain your energies. I understand my visions and worries and everything that are coming through truly are of a very horrific sign or society. And in order to stay grounded in that, one of the things that you have to watch out for are those that are going to become the fear mongers, the ones that are going to become exploitive over that, the ones that are going to literally charge you to hear the type of things that I am telling you right now. Please be mindful of them, okay? The things that I charge for are readings, spell work, consultations, guidance, those type of things. The things that I am explaining to you right now, you're going to start to find people becoming extremely exploitive over them and really becoming manipulative. Like, I wouldn't doubt that there are going to be some practitioners that will do things in order to increase their sales. Okay. So be mindful of those because those are going to be those that are there to drain your energy, use your vulnerabilities for personal gain, right? Like, oh, you're scared, so I can get you to pay me more money for more readings so I can guide you better. So be mindful of that. And also watch out for people who are distorting spiritual teachings. Um, and that's kind of harder to do when you're not as experienced or have had as much time in these type of situations throughout the spiritual world, right? So you really have to just begin to trust your own intuition. And at this point in time, that is going to be your strongest tool, is your own intuition. If something feels off, overly controlling, that's a red flag. Okay. If something feels as if it's being pushed upon you, and that's another red flag. If it doesn't feel comfortable to you, that is another red flag. Okay. Document these interactions and set strategic energy boundaries from there on, thereforth. So once you become aware of it, you know what? You can have a boundary that says, hey, you know what? I'm not going to listen to anybody before I take over and learn. Excuse me once. Well, fam, all I have to say is I really need to learn how to keep my notifications turned off. on my phone. So I do apologize for those delays and those weird sounds in the backgrounds. So again, just document those interactions and set strategic boundaries by, putting out your sigils, making sure that you're putting your salt barriers out, making sure that if you're leaving your home, you have all of your crystals, any of your amulets, making sure that if you are really having a time with it, a real hard go with it, going out into public, a good practice would be to get yourself a spiritual oil that you're connected with. For me, it would be a Hecate oil or a Morgana oil or a Oya oil, using those ancestral oils that, are aligning with you so that you can, when you go out into public, you have a barrier, it does help. It really does. Some of the other things that we're starting to notice is that, and this is why I have left Meta. I am leaving Instagram this week. That has been the hardest one to detach from, because my kids use it so much, and I just it's hard for me. So, but I am detaching from that one because of the increased surveillance. I hadn't really noticed my algorithms very much changing throughout these last few years, but what I have noticed is that my algorithm was being suppressed. The tarot cards, the spiritual, the witchy stuff, everything was being suppressed. And the rapid changes that we are seeing in technology that can begin to interfere with your spiritual practices, those need to be completely cut out because those are just going to become one, distractions, two, an avenue to bring in negativity, and three, honestly, with the Project 2025, it will be a chance for them to single you out. Okay. And so the main reason of this podcast today is the practical tactics so that we can have our energy survive and we can navigate this with clarity. So, something else you can do is begin to realign yourself as you detach from all of these technologies to realign yourself again with nature, powered by the best of nature, right? So, get out there, hug that tree, hold that tree's hand, uh, put your feet into the dirt, really dig them down deep. Get your hands into that soil. It's kind of hard right now because we're all in this winter time. So, one of the things that you can do is, you know, maybe maybe it's time to change the soil in one of your indoor plants. Get your hands into that soil. Connect with that living organism of the soil and allow yourself to ground into that. And what you're going to begin to do is you're going to be able to create safe zones where this technology is now minimized. And you will now be shifting into alignment with what is happening with this frequency that we are in right now. What it will begin to do is help you return to that nature-based practices. And those will begin to strengthen and keep you stronger in your practice and help you also maintain a solid, grounded foundation. Some internal signs that you might actually start to notice is you will begin to withdraw more. These persistent isolation periods, which I have experienced myself, the deep-seated anxiety, which I have witnessed amongst many, and depression that doesn't really have a clear cause. It- But it does, because every day since this shift happened and this project 2025 has become 100% their agenda, the depression kicks in and you try to shake it off. Oh, it's not going to affect me. It doesn't affect me. But as a spiritual person, you can feel that energy around you of other people's fears, of other people's depression, of other people's anxieties. So those are where you're actually picking those up. And you may even begin to feel that your spiritual tools aren't effective when you're out and about or in this type of situation. So regularly assess your mental status. Regularly assess your mental well-being. How are you handling this? And begin to incorporate stronger grounding techniques. If your normal techniques are not getting you all the way there, it's time to switch it up. Add something new. If you are somebody that is struggling with meditations, let me know. I will send you a link. I have many meditations to help you start to build this grounding energy that you can begin to tap into. I have no problem sharing those. So this way you'll be able to, you know, see what's going on and have a a proactive way of handling it. Also, don't hesitate to seek help from trusted peers in the spiritual world or other mentors like myself. Um, we are have been given the tools to help you, and everybody is going through something individual and specific to them. So there is no one fits all. And I just once again recommend it that you don't hesitate and you seek help. I don't know how many times I've gotten that card come up so many times lately is don't hesitate. Definitely reach out. Definitely try to tap into a mentor's experience and knowledge so that you can stay safe and navigate through this. Some some practical tactics that you can use for protection and clarity, and I will say this again and again, is grounding. And when we mean grounding, we mean just, you know, simply sitting for 5 minutes with the sun on your face, on the sun on your back, the grass on your feet, leaning up against a tree. You don't have to necessarily hug it so that, people don't go, oh, she's one of those weirdos. No, you can actually just lean up against it and just kind of take a moment, to breathe. The only thing you need to worry about is thinking, I am. I am my breath. At that moment, all I am is it's me, this tree, and my breath. So that can actually help you begin to get deeper into your own grounding. One of the biggest things that I encourage everybody to do, and I do this every single Monday, is I start out with a meditation. I visualize the roots of my spinal column becoming roots of my own body, right? We've all seen the tree of life. And when you imagine your own spinal cord being your tree of life, and imagine all of those nerve endings now becoming your roots, all of your veins now becoming your roots, and have them dive as you're sitting there thinking and feeling that, have it extend down through your feet, right? Deep down into the earth. Envision each of those layers, each of that ever so delicate root base of your tree of life diving down deep and connecting to that energy. Again, another thing that you can do that is practical and simple is protection crystals, hematite, black tourmaline, black obsidian, shunganite, uh, amethyst. There are just so many that are out there for protection that you can use. And it would be a lot more beneficial if you had them. And especially right now with the Project 2025 and the potential of where this could head, you're going to want to have small little trinkets like that that you can wear on your person that they cannot take from you. The other thing is, again, sage, Palo Santo, Florida water, cleansing your spaces, cleaning them, smudging them, just really getting that energy to move. And one of the best things you can do with this is to begin to create a morning routine that maybe even includes something simple like a journaling of something that you may have saw in your dreams and as when you woke up. You know, sometimes we have that scene that just keeps kind of replaying throughout our day after we've had this vision. And maybe you need to journal that down, right? Or maybe it was a sensation that you felt. I've always had a, a deep sensation that I had felt in a very vivid dream, and I will always remember that feeling. And it was there for a reason. I'm not going to get too into it because it's very personal, but I woke up that morning and I could feel the sensation that I had felt. And the sensation was my fingers gently breezing over the top of blades of grass that were literally at my fingertips. So, remembering those type of things and writing them down so that as things start to unlock or become more clear, you'll understand what they really meant. And it's also super important to set up and learn your own energy clearing and shielding techniques. Um, Again, a lot of the times with different type of spiritual practices or different, I'm just going to say religions for the lack of any type of wording right now with my high vocabulary. My God. Um, One of the things that you're going to always hear is that they want you to have an energetic shield. In Santrea, Ifa, and a handful of others, voodoo, hoodoo. The practice is to, and witchcraft is to wrap your head, right? To cover your head. You don't want that getting into you and you don't want your stuff getting out. So, some of those things you can actually learn to do. One of my favorites that I love to do is I do a hair dye spell. It's a veil that I chant prior to dyeing my hair into the dye. I meditate with it. I send my energy into it. And then I dye my hair. The whole time I'm dyeing my hair, I am chanting protections, rituals, and chants to help keep that right there so that I am having a shielded head. Another thing that, you know, you can do that is really simple, which is taking a page from our beautiful brother and sisters in the Reiki world, and that is learning to create your own protection sphere or energy ball. And it isn't about like wishful thinking, right? Like this is a mental practice that is backed by centuries of ritual, Reiki, energy workers, all of that. So, one of the best things you can do is maybe like so you avoid all the cliches is I encase myself into a barrier of my own strength and clarity. And as you're doing that, envision this beautiful ball and whatever light source that you feel that you need to have that ball become, allow that color to begin to become a protection orb around you. And again, repeat it to yourself. I encase myself in a barrier of my own strength and clarity. Simple, simple. And it is avoiding any of the bullshit cliches. One of the other things is that you maintain your focus for your rituals. And it's really important right now to stay regular and deliberate with your ritual work. So, in full moon and new moon circles, you can reach out to me on my website or you can join my Mighty Network. We will be doing again here very shortly full full moon and new moon circles where we will practice intentional energy clearing, anchoring, and I will guide you through specific rituals that are designed to reset and protect your energy. And this I do charge for. My membership is $7.47 a month to have access to my Mighty Network and be able to interact with me one on one. This will help in creating your focus. So, one of the other things that we will be doing in those full moon, new moons is cord cutting rituals, my candle service rituals, use of different sacred oils on how to anoint certain candles for candle ritual, or even just how to build your own protection amulets. And there are so much other stuff that I will be getting into too. Some of the other things that I could recommend that you do is to build your own spiritual emergency kit, like I talked about in our last segment. Keeping a small kit with a small ritual candle, a sacred oil, protective crystals, um, a piece of cord just for symbolic cord cutting, or and or a satchel of like cleansing herbs in a little tiny like Altoids box. You could even put it in, right? This kit is going to be something that you can have that is going to be a portable spiritual armor for times when you start to feel overwhelmed. Um, and we can get into more step by steps on how to do that um, in other episodes if we need. But you're just gonna focus yourself on the things that in this kit that bring you calm, that ground you, that bring you back to the beginning and the most basic foundations of your own spiritual journey. Okay. So let us talk real quick about preparing and empowering each other in our own communities. I have worked really hard to build and maintain spaces where community can be safe to explore all avenues of spiritual religion, occult, because we all are on our own paths. We all have our own specific tools, specific reasons for being here. Again, we each of our Akashic records are individual and and 100% just our own. So one of the things that I wanted to be able to do is to maintain a safe and sacred space, and that is where I have my Mighty Network. There I do full and new moon circles that will serve as a safe zone for transformation, spiritual, practical craft work. And in these gatherings, we will focus on concentrated practices and avoid vagueness and unhelpful affirmations or hope mongering. Let's say hope mongering. We need to watch out for one another. So I encourage you to share your experiences and red flags in these circles. Um, when somebody feels drained or manipulated, we discuss this. We have a tool to use that will help you navigate if you do feel uncomfortable within my group. And I feel that it's very effective. So again, I will be releasing a series of guides and workshops that dive deeper into all of these practices, whether it's detailed grounding routines, energy clearing rituals, protective measures. I just want us all to have the tools that we need to move forward through this Project 2025 crap. And so this is my call to critical awareness. And I need to stress that this is a time for vigilance and practical action. Okay? We are not here to be passive or merely hopeful, hope mongers. This shift demands that we are proactive and that we question everything and stand strong to our own practices and beliefs that feel organic to us and authentic. So again, I just want to recap on some of these points, making sure that you're watching out for the warning signs, you're staying proactive in your practices, you build your spiritual energy emergency kit for in case you have to grab it on the go, and continue to foster your community with accountability. I invite you, invite, I invite you to join our upcoming full and new moon circles, where we'll be putting all of these practices into actions. Stay engaged, share your experiences, and let's navigate this shift together. Okay. I thank you very much for being here with me today. I do apologize for all of the minor interruptions in today's podcast. I hope that you enjoyed today. And our next episode will be a little bit deeper. We're going to dive into the guardians of the craft, deep secrets that we can help give you that will protect yourself and your practices through all of this chaotic time here on this timeline with all of the changes that are occurring on a daily and minute by minutes, sometimes timeline. And so we will share that in our next episode. Appreciate you guys. Thank you very much and have a magical day.